Picture this. You finally have people over. The house is clean. Everyone is sitting in the living room, laughing, having a great time. From right in the middle of the room, you hear it. Scrop, you look over and there is your dog, sitting down, slowly dragging their rear end across your carpet, inch by inch, with complete and total confidence. Your face goes red, the room goes quiet, and your dog finishes their little floor performance, stands up, shakes, and walks away like absolutely nothing happened. If that image made you laugh and cringe at the same time, you are not alone. But here is the thing. Moment is not just embarrassing. That moment is your dog telling you something. Something is wrong, something is uncomfortable, and they have absolutely no other way to tell you about it. And I know how frustrating this is to deal with, because I talk to pet parents every single day who have already tried things. They switched food, they bought a different protein, who spent money on deworming treatments that did nothing. Others of you have been in and out of the vet clinic, getting your dog's glands expressed every single month, and the second you leave the parking lot, the scooting starts again within a week. But what if I told you that in most cases, the scooting has nothing to do with worms, nothing to do with behavior, and nothing to do with your dog just being weird? Real reason your dog cannot stop dragging their backside across every surface in your home is directly connected to something that is missing from their food bowl, something so simple that it costs almost nothing and takes 10 seconds to add at mealtime. And what if starting today, just one ingredient could finally give your dog the relief they have been trying to ask you for all along? Hi everyone, I am Dr. Michael Carter, your neighborhood veterinarian, and welcome back to the channel. Dog scooting is one of the most searched topics in pet health, and honestly, it is one of the most misunderstood. Today, we are doing a complete masterclass on why this happens, what is actually going on inside your dog's body every time they scoot, and the exact natural protocol you can start today to address the root cause from the inside out. Notebook, because I am going to walk you through the biology, the common mistakes, and a clear step-by-step action plan that is going to change how you look at your dog's bowl forever. Let's get into it. On either side of your dog's anus, positioned roughly at the 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock positions just inside the rectal wall, there are two small sac-like structures called anal glands or anal sacs. Think of them like two tiny pouches, each on either side of your dog's anus, positioned roughly at the 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock positions just inside the rectal wall. There are two small sac-like structures called anal glands or anal sacs. Think of them like two tiny pouches, each no bigger than a marble in a medium-sized dog, built directly into the muscular wall of the rectum. Inside those pouches is a thick, extremely pungent fluid. To a human nose, it smells overwhelmingly fishy and unpleasant. But to another dog, this fluid is a biological calling card. In the wild, every time a wolf or wild canine defecated, this scent fluid would coat the surface of the stool as it passed out of the body, leaving behind a powerful chemical message for any animal that came across it. Territory, identity, health status. It was nature's version of a social media profile. Now here is the part that explains everything. In a healthy dog with a healthy diet, those glands empty themselves completely automatically. Every single time your dog has a firm bowel movement, the stool physically compresses against both glands as it exits the body, squeezing them gently like two small tubes of toothpaste. The fluid releases. The glands empty. The dog feels nothing. The whole process is effortless and invisible. It has worked this way for thousands of years, but that automatic system has one critical requirement. The stool must be firm enough and bulky enough to create the physical pressure needed to squeeze those sacs properly. And this is exactly where things go wrong for millions of dogs today. When a dog's stool is consistently soft, small, or poorly formed, it slides past those glands without creating adequate pressure. The glands do not empty. The next bowel movement comes, and they still do not empty. Day after day, those sacs just keep filling up. The fluid inside begins to thicken. The glands swell. The pressure builds. What started as mild discomfort becomes genuine pain. This is called impaction. And when a dog has impacted anal glands, their instincts take over completely. They lick obsessively at the base of their tail. They bite at their backside. They suddenly stop during walks to sit on the pavement, and they scoot. That dragging motion across your carpet is your dog's attempt to create friction directly against those swollen, overfilled sacs. They are trying to express the glands themselves because nobody else has. They are doing the only thing they know how to do. Here is a real example from my clinic. An owner brought in a 5-year-old golden retriever about a year ago. The dog had been scooting for 3 weeks. The owner had already been to a groomer twice who had expressed the glands externally both times. The scooting stopped for about 4 days each time and then came right back. When I examined the dog, I could feel the glands were full again almost immediately after the last expression. I asked one question: "What are you feeding him?" The owner pulled up the food on their phone. It was a popular grain-free kibble with a crude fiber content of just 2.5%. There was the answer: no worms, no infection, no disease, just a stool that was never firm enough to do the job it was supposed to do. Because here is what most owners never hear at the groomer or even at some vet clinics. The single most common dietary risk factor for recurring anal gland disease in dogs is a low-fiber diet. This is not my opinion. Research cited by the National Center for Biotechnology Information directly identifies low dietary fiber as a primary contributor to anal sac disease in dogs. Cornell University's College of Veterinary Medicine has confirmed the same connection. A low-fiber diet produces soft, poorly formed stools. Soft stools fail to create adequate pressure on the anal glands. The glands back up, impaction follows, and then comes the scooting. Now let me give you an analogy that will make this crystal clear. Imagine you have a tube of toothpaste that is about half full. If you grab the bottom and roll it up firmly and squeeze, the toothpaste shoots right out cleanly. That is exactly what a firm, well-formed stool does to your dog's anal glands as it passes. It creates concentrated mechanical pressure in exactly the right spot. But now imagine instead of toothpaste, you fill that tube with a wet, soft sponge. You can squeeze all day, nothing comes out. That is what a soft, low-fiber stool does. It passes right by those sacs without creating any pressure at all. The glands stay full. The cycle begins. The average commercial dry kibble contains between 2 and 4% crude fiber. Veterinary research on anal gland health suggests that dogs prone to recurring impaction often need a dietary fiber content closer to 6 to 8% to consistently produce the stool firmness required for natural gland expression. Most owners are feeding their dogs half the fiber their body actually needs for the system to work, and they have absolutely no idea because the bag of food never tells them that. Now, before I give you the exact protocol, I want to make sure you understand the other causes of scooting because not every case is an anal gland issue, and I want you to be educated enough to know the difference. The second most common cause of scooting is intestinal parasites, specifically tapeworms. Tapeworms spread through flea ingestion. When a dog accidentally swallows an infected flea while grooming, a tapeworm can establish itself in the small intestine. As the tapeworm matures and sheds, it releases egg packets that look exactly like tiny grains of white rice or sesame seeds. You can find these around the base of your dog's tail, in the fur near their rear end, or in their stool. If you notice anything that looks like white rice-like segments in that area, do not try to treat this with food changes. Take a fresh stool sample to your veterinarian. Tapeworm infection requires specific prescription deworming medication to eliminate properly. No amount of fiber or pumpkin will touch a tapeworm. That is a vet visit, and it is not optional. The third cause is allergies. I see this pattern constantly. A dog comes in scooting. Their anal glands check out fine. The glands are not overly full, but the skin around the anal region is red, irritated, and inflamed. That is an allergic response. Food sensitivities, typically to a protein source like chicken, beef, or dairy, or to starches like wheat and corn, can cause the body to mount a chronic inflammatory response that affects the skin throughout the entire body, including around the anus. These dogs also tend to have recurring ear infections, constantly itchy paws, and skin redness in the groin and armpits. If this pattern sounds like your dog, the scooting is a symptom of an allergy problem, not a gland problem. Talk to your veterinarian about a proper elimination diet trial. Getting the diet right for an allergic dog is a longer process, but it is the only path to real relief. But for the majority of dogs, the fix starts with one word: fiber. And the most powerful, well-researched, and affordable way to deliver it is through plain canned pumpkin. Let me be extremely specific here because this matters enormously. You must buy 100% pure plain canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. I cannot say this firmly enough. Pumpkin pie filling contains added sugar, added spices including nutmeg, and in some brands, artificial sweeteners. Nutmeg is toxic to dogs, and if the label contains xylitol, which is sometimes also listed as birch sugar, you are looking at a potentially life-threatening ingredient. Xylitol can cause a dog's blood sugar to crash catastrophically and can trigger acute liver failure even in small amounts. The can you buy must say 100% pure pumpkin on the label. Turn it over. The only ingredient listed should be pumpkin, nothing else. Plain canned pumpkin is one of the most concentrated natural sources of both soluble and insoluble dietary fiber available. Soluble fiber like pectin, found naturally in pumpkin, absorbs water inside the digestive tract and forms a gel that adds softness and bulk to the stool. Insoluble fiber adds physical mass and firmness. Together, they work to produce the kind of consistently firm, well-formed bowel movement that creates the exact mechanical pressure your dog's anal glands need to empty naturally. Based on veterinary nutrition guidelines, the recommended starting dosage is 1 teaspoon of plain canned pumpkin for every 10 pounds of body weight, mixed directly into their food once daily. A 20-pound dog gets 2 teaspoons. A 50-pound dog gets 5 teaspoons. It is low calorie. At roughly 5 calories per tablespoon, it is completely safe for healthy dogs, and most dogs genuinely enjoy the slightly sweet flavor mixed into their kibble. The second ingredient I want you to add is ground flaxseed. Flaxseed is extraordinary because it delivers two things at the same time. It is a powerful source of insoluble fiber that helps produce firm, bulky stools, and it is also rich in omega-3 fatty acids. Research published in 2022 found that omega-3 supplementation directly and indirectly benefited anal gland health in dogs by reducing inflammation in the tissue surrounding the sacs themselves. When the glands and surrounding tissue are inflamed, they are also more likely to become impacted and infected. Omega-3s help calm that inflammation at the source. Sprinkle about half a teaspoon of ground flaxseed over your dog's food once daily. You will find it in the baking aisle at any grocery store. Always buy ground flaxseed, not whole. A dog's digestive tract cannot break through the hard outer shell of a whole flaxseed, and the nutrients will simply pass through without being absorbed. The third piece of the protocol is gut health, and this is the piece that most people miss entirely. Your dog's gut microbiome, the community of billions of bacteria living inside their intestines, directly controls the consistency, regularity, and quality of every bowel movement they produce. When the gut microbiome is balanced and thriving, digestion runs smoothly, stools are well formed, and everything moves at the right pace. When the gut microbiome is disrupted, whether from processed food, antibiotics, or chronic stress, dogs tend to swing between loose stools and irregular bowel habits, and you already know what loose stools mean for those anal glands. Adding a spoonful of plain unsweetened kefir to their meal is one of the most effective and affordable ways to introduce beneficial probiotic bacteria back into their digestive system. Kefir is a fermented milk drink loaded with live cultures that actively repopulate the gut with healthy organisms. Just 1 tablespoon mixed into their food once daily is enough for a medium-sized dog. And as always, flip the bottle over before you buy it. Check the label for xylitol or birch sugar. Flavored, sweetened, or diet kefir can contain this ingredient. You want plain, unflavored, unsweetened kefir with 0 artificial sweeteners listed. If your dog happens to be lactose intolerant, skip the dairy entirely and ask your veterinarian about a high-quality pet-specific probiotic powder that you can sprinkle over their food instead. The goal is the same: rebuild the gut, firm up the stool, and let the body do the job it was designed to do. Now let me give you the veterinary warnings you absolutely need to hear. These dietary steps are powerful for prevention and for supporting mild, recurring fullness, but they are not appropriate as the only response in every situation. If you look at your dog's rear end and you see visible swelling, redness, or any kind of discharge near the anus, please do not try to manage this at home. What you are likely seeing is an abscess forming. An anal gland abscess occurs when impaction progresses to infection, and the infected fluid builds under pressure until it ruptures through the skin. This is a genuinely painful veterinary emergency. It requires draining, antibiotic treatment, and often pain medication. Do not attempt to squeeze or express the glands yourself when there is an active infection or swelling. You can cause serious injury and dramatically worsen the situation. Go to your vet. Equally important, if your dog shows signs of pain when they sit, flinches when you touch near the base of their tail, or has been scooting persistently for more than 2 or 3 days without improvement, please schedule a veterinary visit to have the glands professionally expressed first. The dietary protocol is for long-term management and prevention. It is not a substitute for professional care when an active, painful problem is already present. And one more thing I want to address directly: body weight. Overweight dogs are at significantly higher risk for recurring anal gland problems than lean dogs. The reason is purely mechanical. Excess fat deposits around the pelvic region can physically compress the glands and block their natural drainage pathways, even when the stool is perfectly firm. If your dog requires frequent gland expressions and is carrying extra weight, weight management is not optional. It is part of the treatment plan. Even losing a small amount of weight can dramatically improve how well those glands function on their own. Talk to your veterinarian about a safe, gradual weight loss plan if this applies to your dog. Let me bring everything together into a clear action plan you can start right now. First, look at the base of your dog's tail and the fur around their rear end today. If you see any white, rice-like segments, take a fresh stool sample to your veterinarian before anything else. Treat the parasite, then address the diet. Second, if the area looks clear and this is a recurring issue, go to the grocery store and pick up a can of 100% pure plain pumpkin. Begin adding 1 teaspoon per 10 pounds of body weight to their food once daily. Start with just the pumpkin for the first few days and let their digestive system adjust. Third, after a few days, add half a teaspoon of ground flaxseed to their bowl once daily for the added fiber and anti-inflammatory omega-3 support. Fourth, introduce a spoonful of plain, unsweetened kefir or a pet-specific probiotic powder to rebuild the gut microbiome and support consistent stool quality. Fifth, make sure your dog always has access to fresh water. Fiber works hand in hand with hydration. Without enough water, increased fiber can actually slow things down rather than help. Sixth, and most importantly, if scooting does not improve after a consistent week of dietary changes, or if you notice any swelling, discharge, or persistent pain, please schedule a veterinary visit. Some dogs, particularly small breeds like Chihuahuas, Dachshunds, and toy poodles, have glands that are positioned or structured in a way that makes natural expression very difficult regardless of diet, and they need professional expression on a regular schedule as part of their routine care. That one embarrassing moment in front of your guests, that's your dog reaching out to you. They can't knock on a door, they can't send a text, they scoot, and now you understand exactly why. You understand the anatomy, the root cause, the dietary science, and the clear steps to help them. That knowledge belongs to you now, and it is going to stay with you for your dog's entire life. If today's video gave you that light bulb moment and a real plan, please hit the like button. It helps this channel reach other pet parents searching for real answers. Subscribe so you never miss one of these deep dives, and leave me a comment right now. Tell me, is your dog a scooter? And which of these 3 ingredients are you adding to their bowl first? I read every single comment, and I would love to hear how your dog responds. Give your dog a long, gentle scratch behind the ears from me tonight. Stay safe, take the best possible care of your best friend, and I will see you in the next video.